So Korematsu was Japanese. I wanted to give you like a little bit more information to his story because his story is actually really interesting. So when he first heard about that exclusion order that said Japanese Americans all have to move out or go to these camps, he didn't want to go, obviously. I mean, who would want to? So what he did is he got all of his money that he could possibly spend, more than what he wanted to, and he went to a plastic surgeon because he's like, okay, if they can't know that, if they don't look at me and know that I'm Japanese, then maybe I don't have to go to the camp. Maybe I can avoid it. So he got plastic surgery on his eyes, and he was trying to get more plastic surgery done, but I can't remember if he just didn't have enough money or if the doctor refused. Or, no, actually, he was trying to get more. I remember now. He was trying to get more plastic surgery done to make himself look even less Asian, even less Japanese, to, you know, in his words. But the doctor's like, I could keep working on you, but it's not going to change anything after, you know, that's pretty much the biggest difference I can make on you. And so they eventually found him, took him to the camp. That is where he applied to the Supreme Court saying, you know, this is unconstitutional. This is not legal. I did nothing wrong. Okay. So this guy is pretty famous. I mean, they've made a couple movies about him. There's books about him, just because it was pretty much a big deal that he was a guy who took this to the Supreme Court in an event of something that was extremely unfair and unjust. Okay, he was a person who was in the Topaz camp in Utah, so he was here. He's gone around ever since then. You know, ever since he spent his years there in the camp, he has gone on, like he's gone on to the public schools and spoke about his experiences. And then this other point I wanted to make to you guys. Do you guys, who thinks that it's fair that they put the Japanese on clean camps? Do you think that was a fair and just thing to do?
It's tough to say.
I mean, because did they do anything wrong? No. So the whole point, what was the main point of why, that we talked about yesterday in documents, why did they put the Japanese in these camps?
Get them away from the West Coast.
Right, because what?
And they're like, well, there's only like oil, and they're scared that the Japanese might tell the Japanese.
Right, they might have information they might divulge. But in large part too, like we talked about yesterday, large part they weren't sure, they didn't know what they were gonna do.
Yeah.
There was just too much uncertainty, so they're like, let's better be safe than sorry, is kind of what they figured out. It was a military necessity, right?
You would think that they would do that to the other side, Eastern, with the Germans and stuff.
You'd think so.
But they never did that.
Yeah, if it really wasn't so much of a racial thing, then they would have done that to the east side, because more German Italian immigrants come to this East Coast when they immigrate, then they had nothing. I mean, of course, German immigrants, like we talked about yesterday, hated anyways.
Those Italians over there.
But it is a lot easier. It's a lot easier to recognize who is Japanese and who is not, and who, compared to who is German or not, or who is Italian or not. Like, it's harder to distinguish that. So I think that does play in part. It was an easier thing to do to limit the Japanese. Now, they didn't limit Japanese in the whole country, right? Just this area. If they limited the whole country, that would have been really, really bad. Okay. Even worse, if you could, you know, it can get worse. That's the way it could have gone worse. So putting them into camps, they did nothing wrong. There was this fear though. That's what I want to talk to you guys
It's
about.
like the Red Scare.
Yeah. When the country, and this has happened so many times in our country, like the Red Scare, when people are afraid of a certain group of person because they're not sure what they're going to do, or they think that they might be dangerous, our government has a history in several instances where we have done things that are against the Constitution, violated people's rights, in order to make us not so fearful as a country. and putting people in jail or detaining people because of the group they belong to. Yes, with communists, with the Red Scare, yeah, and we'll talk about that more again after World War II is over. But also very recently, right after 9/11 happened,
Oh yeah, everyone did like.
there were Muslims who were jailed. There was anybody who was of Arab descent from the Middle East. They were criticized. They were verbally and physically abused. Not all of them, but a large portion of them. Some people even were jailed just because they were Arab or just because they were Muslim, because there was, again, this fear of terrorists from the Middle East coming and attacking us, right? There was this huge fear. This fear has caused us to react in a way that wasn't right, wasn't just, violated people's freedoms, but it was done because we wanted to suppress our fears, to get rid of some of our fears or feel safer, right? So you guys can see that this has happened several times, right?
It'll happen again, most likely.
Yes, it could happen again.
I'll say as long
This,
as any.
even camps,
Yeah.
if they could deem it militarily necessary, they could still do this again. They could. Now, they said in another Supreme Court finding, they're like, oh no, the Japanese concentration camps that we had, those were unconstitutional. But there was something that sneaked in 2008 that allowed this sort of thing to happen again if necessary for the security of the country. Could happen again. I really hope not. Okay, we have to make sure that, and this is the biggest thing. Every time this has happened, that we have acted in fear and suppressed people's rights, it has happened and been allowed to happen because people have this fear and hatred of that group. Communists, they feared and hated them. The Japanese, they feared, and they were hugely discriminated and prejudiced against, and people were racist towards them. The Muslims, same thing. Guess what happened in Germany in World War II? People didn't say anything because they hated Jews. There was already that racism, well, not really racism because it's not a race, but there's already that discrimination, hate towards that group. So then when the government does something in this sense of the state of fear, nobody does anything about it because they already hate that group, right? And it's not just our country, right? Because I just mentioned one big thing, but that has happened in almost every country that I have ever seen and read about their history. It's a human trait, but that is one key thing that is necessary to allow horrible things like this to happen, is because the general public in that area already has this feel of hatred and anger and resentment and or racism towards a group. Doesn't have to be a race group. It could be a political group like the communists. It could be a religion like the Jews, right? So if there's ever an extreme hatred towards a group in an area, those are the people who are most at risk for having their rights violated. And nobody's going to do anything about it. So what lessons should we learn from this then?
That if a race does something, you're gonna have the right to do it. Well, pretty much.
If there's a huge organization, a stereotype about someone's race, like the Muslims, then things are going to happen to them.
I was like, because you know how right now Asian hate is going high
Yeah.
because of whatever the heck's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know like some people think they're all pissed off with that because they say it comes from China. But yeah, and that's because Asian hate is going way right now. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Especially like over there in the eastern part.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
going way high.
Yeah, there are definitely certain areas that are worse in the country than others, for sure.
Eastern man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
They ain't anything.
So you can see fear, right? Fear and hatred, or this, not good feelings towards a group. When those two are combined, that's when things can get bad. So how do we need to act towards people who are hated? Should we keep going along with things like this? Even if you really don't like a group, okay? let's say, I don't know, throw out a group. I don't want it. Any group, any sort of group, a racial group, a religious group, Ku Klux Klan. Let's say that you guys hate the Ku Klux Klan. They are horrible people, and they need to be blamed for all this stuff because they are horrible people.
Nazis now?
If
They are.
there are no Nazis today, yeah.
I like it. Like people, KKK consider themselves neo-Nazis too.
Yes.
White supremacists,
They call themselves patriots.
Yeah, I mean, there's KKK is just the name of one of the groups. Neo-Nazi is the name of one of the groups. They're all white supremacists, all those groups, but they're, specific group names. So say that you guys are like, I hate the KKK, okay? Regardless of what you think about those people, does that justify if their rights are violated and taken away and they're thrust into camps because we're afraid that they're gonna start killing anybody who's black?
Could happen in history.
What do you guys think? Could that happen?
It could. Possibility. I mean, it happened in the past.
and look in the office too.
But what do we need to do? Because maybe there's a member of the KKK. You have the right in our country. You have the right to be racist. You do. It's freedom of speech.
Yes.
By being a member of the KKK, did they do anything to violate the law?
No.
Not just by being a member of the KKK.
Like not no, but they're.
No, they're not.
You can be a member of a party and do nothing wrong and break no law, right? You just are racist, okay? So does that mean that you should be put into a camp or you should be exterminated? But we really don't like them, right?
That's tough.
That's exactly where we have to take a stand though, because Jews, people blamed them. There's even, I heard it the other day, people are blaming Jews for the coronavirus today, okay?
It was the Asians, that was the Jews.
I know, literally everything that happens in history, Jews are gonna get blamed. They were hated, they were like, you did this, you did this, you did this, all these horrible things. But that does not justify the actions against them, right?
That was crazy. It was the Asians, now it's the Jews. What's that? Muslims?
Actually, think about it. I had one of those caves and those scientists in Japan, wherever it was, Wuhan, they got hold of the virus.
Yeah.
If you think about it, they could probably been the ones that made the virus.
Well, that's the thing.
Wuhan's actually like a top tier scientist facility.
Yeah, and they're still trying to figure it out, still too soon to really know without a doubt what happened and where it came from, but there's all sorts of trails, right? There's all sorts of trails of where it all started. The whole point though is, you guys see the hatred, right?
Oh, yeah.
If there's a hatred and if there's a fear, we have to, as a people, because we know of all these instances that we just talked about, where people's rights were violated and people were killed because of the group they belong to, not because they did anything wrong, just because we hate the group.
Watch.
What we have to do to prevent this from happening again is, even if we hate that group and we wish that group didn't exist, we still cannot stand for spreading the hate against that group, for encouraging any violence or anything that takes away their rights. Because when we start doing that, even for the groups that are the most hated, when we start doing them, that kind of makes us just like those who are okay with the Jews being exterminated, right? And the people who are okay with the Japanese being in their camps. We can't be okay with the hatred of groups if they've done nothing wrong, just because they're part of a group, even if we don't like them, right? That's how we prevent things like this from happening again. Because those two key things, that hatred of that group and the fear of what that group could do, if there's those two together have horrible consequences, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And it's up to the general public. If the general public did not have that hatred, or at least didn't do anything to violate the laws or violate their freedoms and their liberties because of that hatred, then those wouldn't happen anymore. Okay, now we're going to move on to today's topic, now that we're done with Japanese camps. So today's objective is, how was Germany eventually defeated? Germany was the main enemy, at least the beginning, okay, of World War II.
More people started.
We're gonna figure out how they were defeated, okay? So, you guys are gonna do this D-Day
No.
assignment right here. I do have, because it's easier to just write on paper, I do have the paper for you guys, but you need to go to that assignment so you can click on the link. And you guys do, if you didn't catch it, you do have homework this weekend.
The internet again.
You're gonna click on the link for that assignment, okay? That's the website you're going to use in order to do this.
So we're learning about.
You guys have seen this before, everybody but Stacy, because you haven't had my class before. You guys have seen this before.
Is it D-Day?
It's using that map website, that Esri website where you can like measure things and stuff like that. You guys can use that. So if you wanna jump ahead and move ahead, that is, you know, we're gonna be kind of going pretty quick, as we can, okay? So this is Operation Overlord. This is the name that was given to the operation, the strategy of taking back Europe. So before D-Day, do you guys see all this whole section of Europe right here?
Yes.
It was all controlled by Germany. Germany had expanded control
Was
almost
it a little
all
more
of
into
Europe.
Russia?
Huh?
Was it more into like,
No, it wasn't.
Russia was coming into here, but they Germany controlled like
I think
this.
World War I, because that's when Russia pulled out and they got a little.
Yeah,
I was thinking that.
yeah. Yeah, I know, it's hard to, it's easy to, you know, get details.
Where do we go?
So click on that website.
Oh, use this site.
Yeah, go up to the, yes, click on it, it's where it says use this site. And you can stay with us as a class as we go through it, or you can go off and do it on your own and go as quick as you want to, okay? We're working on to get this finished by the end of class, so we've got 25 minutes to go through this,
Oh,
okay?
alright, I guess.
All right, is everybody there on the website?
Nope.
On the map, you should see red and blue, red and blue.
Yes, red and blue.
Okay, we'll catch you up in a second. So, first, where was the Atlantic Wall? We wanted to see where the Atlantic Wall is and what it is. So, click on the bookmark, click on bookmarks, and then click Atlantic Wall bookmark. So look where it says bookmark. You might need to log back in, so click, yeah,
Okay.
click on Canvas again, log back in. So again, bookmarks, click on Atlantic Wall.
Now what?
Okay, I'm going to do this part because measuring, come on, is slow usually when, oh, there we go. One finger, when everybody does it. So I'm going to do this part and then you guys are gonna answer. Okay, so we're going to calculate the area that Nazi Germany previously controlled in Europe, except for this Scandinavian peninsula. So I'm gonna measure it, square miles. Let's see. Put it this way. Okay. Apparently I did something. Okay, approximately how many square miles? Number, oh, measure its length in miles, sorry. Miles. Measure its length.
How long was the online?
Oh, Atlantic Wall, sorry. That's wrong. I'll do that again. Here we go. How long was the Atlantic Wall?
1,470.
There you go, write it down. That's number one.
1,470.
So you can see, again, red is what the Axis powers are basically Germany. Because Italy is, you know, gone.
Oh, Italy, this is my Italy.
Yeah, Italy pulled out, and then they're struggling. You can see they're struggling. The southern half wants to stay allied, you know, and is having allies come and try to push back this way, and the Axis powers are pushing back from that way. But they control basically all of Europe.
Why isn't Spain, I thought Spain was,
Another neutral. Had an war or something.
Yeah, they had a civil war going on before then, and they didn't join.
Is it?
Okay, all right, now you guys are gonna do this too. So bookmarks, click on
No.
bookmarks, click on the Calais bookmark. You're gonna open and read the map note that is on here.
Oh, yes.
So click on the note and read it.
Done.
And then answer number 2. Calais. Click on the note, read it, and then answer number 2 on your paper.
Oh.
Again, if you wanna move ahead, you can go ahead and move ahead.
No, it's better to do that. Is this one, there's still control over France? Right?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, it zoomed in too much. Yes.
No. I wonder if we ever have another war, I think Germany was go against us again.
No, we're allies now.
Alright.
Yeah, they're good. They're one of the good guys now.
So,
In our version of the story.
this
they're good
time
guys.
is gonna be China. No, we followed them before.
We talked about yesterday,
Cause they don't like us now.
China, Russia, North Korea, and Iran are probably the four most,
Like,
the countries that, most likely that we would go to war with. Or would be involved in a war against us.
yeah, so this would be opposite, instead of us helping China with the whole Japan thing, it'll be us probably helping
Yeah,
Japan.
and now
with the
Japan is
China.
our ally. Okay, you guys all got number 2?
Yeah, I got it, it's good.
Anybody not there yet? Number 2 done? So again, what was the purpose of the wall? What do you think? So, long system of coastal fortifications along the wall.
It was to protect themselves, like, because it's in case of, if they try to invade over.
Yeah, because look how close Great Britain is to France. So, put a wall, keep them. There we go, purpose of the wall.
There we go.
What made it difficult to penetrate? Says it in the middle of that note.
What do you have? Something like that?
Rhonda was fixing part of it for me. I have to wear for my brother's wedding
Oh,
on Saturday.
congratulations.
Yeah, but he's
pretty
getting
green.
married.
The only green I like,
Yeah, the forest, darker green.
I don't like any other green but that.
Okay, all right, looks like most of you guys are done now. All right, so now we're going to choose a D-Day invasion bookmark. D-Day invasion region bookmark. D-Day invasion region, and then you're gonna turn on the D-Day locations layer. So to do that, you click on the content box right up here, top left, the content. And then you're gonna choose that layer that we just talked about, D-Day locations. Layer. D-Day locations. So your map, your thing should look like mine. Okay? Oh, oh yeah, D-Day locations. Oh, there we go. Oh, wait a second, I'm gonna show the ships yet, like this, loaded forever. Okay, you guys all got it? Sure.
I sent it to both your emails.
Oh, that's fine. If you submitted it already, then you're good. Yep. Okay, thanks, babe. All right, so now that you're on there, you're going to choose Show Map Legend, which is this little thing right here. When you hover over it, or you click on it, so you can see the legend. So you know what those mean. So these are the Normandy towns, right? So Normandy towns. Yeah, okay, so you click on the table, this list.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, that's the legend. So, Germany was very heavily fortified, okay, in this area. They did not expect an invasion there. They expected the Strait of Dover,
Where's that?
right here.
Oh, yeah, it's because it's closer.
There we go. That's number 3. Why do you think that the Strait of Dover is the most likely place where they expected an invasion? Look at the distance, right? So that's number 3. Number 4 is talking about how far did the Allied forces have to travel to go unnoticed before landing along the Normandy beaches. So they had to travel at least that many miles.
That's crazy.
At least 60 to 84 miles. So that's number 4.
Next one.
Okay, so the Allies, they were watching weather reports, moon phases, tide levels. They were checking all that stuff so they know when is the best time to attack.
Yeah, like,
What was that?
wasn't like the weather was really bad for a while.
Yeah.
And then like US.
Yeah. So we're gonna turn on the D-Day invasion bookmark, the local, D-Day invasion local bookmark. Okay, so it zooms in a little bit.
Oh,
Okay, so you're gonna click on these features to see who participated. Oh no, wait, not that one.
which countries?
It's not gonna
Which
show up.
is the country that, I don't know.
Oh,
It
I
doesn't
think
say
it's-
countries.
I didn't see that. Which countries? Oh, it was, I think we needed to. There we go. Let's turn on the D-Day invasion, like, D-Day invasion later.
Where's that?
It's right underneath the D-Day locations. And then turn on the legend. For D-Day invasions, then turn on the legends. Then you're gonna find out, answer to number 5, which countries participated in the invasion?
Go Canada.
And then number 6, which types of troop advancements were involved and why do you think both were needed? So you can see amphibious means on boat over water, and air means on airplane with paratroopers dropping down.
Oh, why were they?
So number 6 is what are the 2 different types of advancements that were involved, which I just talked about, and why were both of them needed, do you think?
Wait, how do you do that?
Can you watch them?
Okay, so turn on that one. There you go.
So wouldn't there be like one on foot or not? Or
So
just-
once they got there, it would be on foot, but you can't travel across.
So
It's
foot.
mostly like, how do they travel across the water?
Oh, okay.
Amphibious, through boats, and over air. Those are the 2 ways. So next part of number 6 was, why do you think both of them were needed?
So, where were the airships? Airships. Oh, it says airships. Oh, never mind, the airdrops.
There we go.
Airships.
They had paratroopers dropping from the planes.
Oh, was it like in the cities and, like in cities and stuff?
Well, we'll talk about, I think it talks about that later, like where that happened.
I was like, I know it was like, they had to like, put certain
Oh, yeah,
bridges
it
and
does,
stuff.
yeah. So, the airborne landings, are you guys done with number 6?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, the airborne landings happened early morning, before things got light. Okay, so look at where the airborne landings, this one with the like little lines on it,
Yeah,
look where they happened.
way in there.
Where were they located? Remember, the wall is along the coast, is shortly along the coast.
Was it both of them, like the blue and the, red?
Blue and red, yep. Got Britain and US air troops dropping down.
So,
So where do they happen? Do they happen on the beach side of the wall
No, in
or
towns.
on the other side of the wall?
Other side.
There we go.
So I already did that.
On to the towns too, right?
Oh, which beach?
Yes, so the Allies designated 5 beaches for land invasion. So these began at 6:30 a.m. in the morning. Okay?
So where do we find the beaches?
On which 5 beaches did they land? Let's see. Let's see if this one's gonna talk about it.
In Utah.
Yeah, so you can click on these,
Was it one of
click
them?
on these
Utah.
5 beach invasions.
So what was it?
One was named Utah. Yep. Woohoo! We're in World War II.
Why would Germany name, France?
So that's the name
Name of beach.
of that one. So you just click on those 5 arrows to find the 5 names of the 5 beaches, or no, the names of the US ones, sorry.
Oh,
Which are what color? Look at which color is US. There's 2. There's 2 for number 8. 2 beaches. That's what you're gonna write now. 2 beaches.
the last one.
Flip it over when you're done with 8, so I know you're done with 8. If there's 2 beaches, 2, look at the color, that is the US. Look at the 2 beaches that we landed on. What were the names of those 2 beaches?
Oh.
Some of it's okay. Just the US? Just the US. There was 5 beach invasions, but 2 were US. Oh, Stacy. Before I forget. Where's that whole big thing?
The statistics.
Flip your paper over when you're done, so I know you're done.
The only thing I'm missing are the drops.
Oh, you don't need airdrops. Oh,
You don't need them?
oh, no, oh, yeah, 7, yeah. So just, did they land along the coast or they go over, do they go over the wall? to the cities? Yeah. Their main thing for dropping on the beach and going over the wall to the other side is so they can go from 2 angles. Because basically they saw them coming in from the beach and like, oh, okay, attack. They're like, they're back there. What? You know, that's the thing that they were going
One of
for.
the two is like to,
So they
Lock
used
their way.
the big area.
Hold on, you start talking first. Go ahead.
oh, I know I did that to be in the back too, is to like block like any more.
Yes, and he retreats.
Yeah,
Can stop. Go ahead.
so they did like the bigger area, and then they set out like a smaller air station that you go in first.
Yeah. So they had this one. This one was like pre-dawn where they jumped, and then these guys were like right at dawn when they came up on the beaches. Okay. So how big was the D-Day invasion? On the back side of the paper. Click on show the table for D-Day invasions later. That's that little table right there. D-Day invasions.
D-Day.
And you should have a little table that pops up.
Oh, sword.
Yeah. So you're gonna do sort ascending and statistics, okay? So, how many troops? Number of troops. How many troops were involved in the whole invasion? So troops,
Did the
oh,
ad.
there we go. Click on troops and click on statistics.
True.
How many troops were involved? Write the answer for number 9. Total number. There's another word for total. When you add things up. It says it in the table. How many troops? And that's number 9. Everybody find it?
Yeah.
Anybody not find it?
Close. How many casualties?
Oh no, I opened up
See
something
number
else.
9. You
There's
find it?
only 300 people who died in Utah.
Okay, so click on D-Day views, the table.
What a casual term. Yes.
There you go. Then click on troops. Statistics. Oh. And then that shows you the total number of troops,
Which one you got the highest?
which is the sum of values, right?
Which one the highest?
Okay, how many casualties? So you'd have to exit out of there. Estimated casualties, how many casualties? Click on estimated casualties and click on statistics. And write down for number 10, how many casualties there were.
The air had more, dang, that's crazy.
And then for number 11,
Done.
if you, there's that section, okay, go on to the long section. Okay, number 11, which landing areas experience the highest casualties? So how we're gonna do that is we wanna find an estimated casualty, right? We wanna sort it from the top down. So we're gonna click sort as descending. So it starts with the highest casualties. So let's see, there we go. Which landing areas, which destination experienced the highest casualties?
Oh,
Do the top two. Number 11, do the top two. Highest casualties. Top two. So, oh, yeah, so you're right, oh, you got, okay, so your statistics, yeah, that's the sum, right, so that's 9. Yeah, sum, that's what sum means, like the total, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll come back ready to catch you up in a second. Do the same for the casualties for 10. Okay, so then you're going to, you can exit out of this table, well, yeah, you can exit out or not. You click on the note, and you're gonna read this caption. You can click on the image to enlarge it and make it bigger, so you can see, look at that, guys. You can see it even bigger on my screen.
Wow.
12, what does this image tell you about the D-Day invasion?
Blips.
What does it tell you? Write it down for number 12.
I'm done.
Okay, awesome.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Not cool, but it looks.
So what, just basically what comes to mind, what's involved, how many is involved,
22.
what would be hard, what would be easy.
22. Oh. Tired. You should do work. You should do the rest of the work.
We're done. Well, at least with my class are done.
Ooh.
Okay, everybody good? You good? Oh, number 12, yeah, so what do you notice?
This is for
What do you notice about, what does this image tell you about the D-Day invasion? Number 12. Okay, so it's out of there, and this one was the. Okay, so one estimated casualty,
just show me that, once.
sort of descent.
Okay, glimpse.
So this is which areas had the highest casualties, the top two, which areas, so the destination.
Timeline. Yep. Oh.
Okay, so I'm gonna exit out of this table now, so you can exit out of your table. You're gonna turn off German occupation layer. Okay, turn it off, click the box, turn it off. So now it doesn't look
Scary.
German occupied anymore. Now you're gonna turn on, let's see. There we go. Yeah, turn on the after D-Day layer.
Oh. Okay.
we're gonna choose the after D-Day bookmark.
Oh. Looks like D-Day.
There's
Let's go.
only 2 more questions, so we're gonna finish that. We're gonna choose the after D-Day bookmark, and there should be at the bottom, there should be a thing that you click and it says play. It doesn't show on mine. It's showing yours. Then you're gonna answer the last 2 questions. Okay, yeah, just click play and watch it. Did you find it?
Fair.
You got 1 more minute.
It wasn't fair.
It is fair.
It wasn't fair.
It wasn't fair.
I didn't
And
say
watch
so.
what happens. Yep, press the play button, watch what happens, answer the last 2 questions, and turn it in.
What?
So, yep, watch it, answer the last 2 questions, and turn it in. Oh, your homework is to learn about the code talkers in World War II.
Really?
Yes. So, if you want to watch a video as opposed to read,
Scary.
there's a video on the assignment on Canvas.
Scary.
And you just summarize 5 main points. Or you can do the reading and summarize 5 main points. So, who
Give
wants
me
the
the
reading?
reading. I'm better at reading.
Okay, that's fine. Who else wants the reading for their homework, as opposed to the video online? You're summarizing 5 main points,
Thank you.
okay? As soon as you finish the assignment, then you turn it in and wipe off. I want you guys to turn that in, because we're all done. Brandon, you want video or
See you
reading?
next week. Bye.
Reading, okay, summarize 5 main points. Stacy, video or reading? Okay, summarize 5 main points and bring it back next week. Oh, okay.